Welcome to Agenda Edina, a news program summarizing the actions taken at City Hall that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. Edina City officials are asking the Metropolitan Airports Commission, or MAC, to meet with residents to share information and answer questions. This comes after reviewing data from a summer aviation noise study. MAC staff monitored airplane noise August 22nd through September 4th with temporary remote monitoring towers, each with a monitoring radius of 2 miles. MAC staff worked with city representatives to choose the 2 sites in Edina. Airplane noise is measured by DNL, or Day-Night Average Sound Level. The Federal Aviation Administration considers 65 DNL as the threshold for incompatibility with residential areas. The site at Arneson Acres Park in Edina had an average noise level of 49 DNL. The site at McGuire Park in Edina had an average noise level of 47.7 DNL during the 2 weeks, according to the report. Though the findings are below the FAA's threshold, information in the report adds to what is already known about the increases in flights, due in part to the abandonment of the runway use plan.
So I think just for our residents, we wanted to know what people were hearing, what that noise level was, what it's similar to in other areas. We already knew that outgoing planes are louder than incoming planes. There's been a change in the patterns of planes over those neighborhoods too, so they were hearing more noise. That was important. You know, ultimately, would we like some monitors? We probably do, and I think we're working towards that. But it was the first shot at what do people really hear.
Councilmember Swenson also said local officials will make sure Edina's federal legislators know about the data and residents' continued concerns about aviation noise. City staff will study its liquor laws this year to align local ordinances with preferences and best management practices of Edina businesses and residents. The review process will kick off next month. Businesses and members of advisory boards and commissions will be asked for feedback this spring, followed by a public open house for residents to give their input in June.
The City of Edina's liquor ordinance is a little quirky in places, and it's a little more restrictive than most of our neighboring cities. In fact, the City of Minneapolis made some pretty significant changes to their liquor ordinance this past year. We really want to do an evaluation to see how our ordinance compares to theirs and our other neighbors to make sure that our businesses are not at a competitive disadvantage compared to them.
Any new provisions could become effective as early as November 1st. Edina will enact a moratorium on medical marijuana production and sales facilities. Operators of medical marijuana facilities are seeking sites for new dispensaries. At least one operator is seeking a location in Edina or Bloomington. This use has not been anticipated in the city's zoning and land use regulations. The one-year moratorium will allow the city to determine whether the city code needs to be amended to address these facilities.
Yeah, the moratorium is really the city saying, time out, let's take a few weeks, few months to study this, make sure that we understand the pros and cons of this use. Seeing that it's never been done before in Minnesota, we wanted to do this carefully. We're not saying no, we're not saying yes, we're asking for time to study it and come up with appropriate regulations.
Several Minnesota cities have similar moratoriums in place, including Bloomington, Duluth, and Richfield. Thanks for watching this episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.